Sit and be waiting. In self-inquiry rests our felicity, our everything the heart could desire, and ignorance of who we are is the great trouble. It's a problem of our life. And when we see who we are, we find incredible blessing all along in every possible way. The secret of the medicine for our problem is to see who has the problem. Ramana's advocating a way which I find eminently practical, practicable, and needs practicing, but this is the way. Have a look at what it's like being first person singular, present tense. Instead of being out there, looking at yourself from a distance. Look at yourself from no distance at all, at what you're looking out of. What it's like here, right here. And it's like gazing into vacancy.
Those who surrounded Ramana during his lifetime came from very diverse cultural and social backgrounds. What they had in common was a sincere aspiration to experience true inner peace and freedom. Ramana never saw anyone as separate from himself and had no disciples in the conventional sense. He told a visitor in 1936, "The person may call himself my disciple or devotee. I do not consider anyone to be my disciple. If people call themselves my disciples, I do not approve or disapprove. In my view, all are alike. What can I say to them?" He regularly said that the Guru was not the physical form, and guidance continues after the demise of the body. Therefore, there was no need to create a lineage or provide for transmission in order to carry on successorship. Several well-known devotees expressed the different ways in which they experienced Maharshi's presence and teachings. The inquiry is not a mental investigation such as psychologists might indulge in. It is not a probing into the faculties, urges, memories, or tendencies of one's conscious or subconscious mind, but a quest of the pure I amness that lies behind all these. To meet the needs of various seekers, Ramana did expound various doctrines. But we have heard him say that his true teaching, firmly based on his own experience, is ajata, that which was never born. The most touching sight is the number of tiny children, up to about 7 years of age, who climb the mountain all on their own to come and sit near Maharshi, even though he may not speak a word or hardly look at them for days together. They do not play, but just sit quietly there, in perfect contentment. You are the self, Ramana tells us. Nothing but the self. Anything else is just imagination. So be the self, here and now. There is no need to run off to a forest or shut oneself in a room. Carry on with your essential activities, but free yourself from association with the doer of them. Self is the witness. You are that. Bhagavan has written a song whose import is that the path is very easy if the mind is not allowed to stray after the senses and directed to inquire into its true nature. certainly the heart will be reached and the self perceived. The teaching of Bhagavan has acquired worldwide recognition and attracted earnest seekers from all 5 continents, as much for its simplicity as for its sturdy rationality, which appeal both to the head and the heart. It can, however, be summed up in the ancient dictum, know thyself, or seek the seeker. When Ramana spoke, the words seemed to come out of an abyss. One could see immaculate purity and non-attachment in him and his movements. In his vicinity, the mind's distractions were overpowered by an austere and potent calmness, and the unique bliss of peace was directly experienced. Again and again he gave us the teaching that the real Maharshi was not the body which people saw. It was the inner being. Those who never made the journey to India during his lifetime may take comfort in this thought, that it is possible to invoke his presence wherever they are and to feel its reality in the heart. Ramana wrote very little and taught mainly through the tremendous power of silence. The writings of Ramana were created mostly to meet the specific needs of others and fall into 2 general categories. The first is where perfect knowledge is combined with the ecstasy of devotion. Tears of joy streamed down his face as he wrote them. These devotional poems mirror the aspect of longing and the bliss of fulfillment. The other writings enunciate his teachings in both poetry and prose. These include clear expositions of the nature of God, the mind, the world, and the individual. Just as Ramana realized the self without previous spiritual or philosophical instruction, he attached little importance to theoretical study. Therefore, his writings focus on the practical approach of turning toward the source of self-knowledge, rather than getting lost in the never-ending cycle of intellectual discussion. Ramana indicated that the heart was another name for God or the self. It is called heart since it is the source from which the universe rises. He stated, the heart is not physical. In Sanskrit, heart is hridaya, which means that which is the center. It is that from which thoughts arise, on which they subsist, and where they are resolved. The heart is the center of it all. It is said to be the infinite.
Throughout the written works of Ramana, there is regular reference made to the heart as the source of one's existence. In the invocation to the 40 verses on existence, the Maharshi writes, if reality did not exist, could there be any knowledge of existence? Free from all thoughts, reality abides in the heart, the source of all thoughts. It is therefore called the heart. How then is one to contemplate it? To be as it is in the heart is its contemplation.